Hey everyone, so this video that follows is a couple years old now, but it walks through all of the first phase of my garage upgrades. These pegboard walls, these concrete edge covers, my ceiling lights, a lot more about this overhead storage system. Also these cabinet doors, and the whole reorg I did with this cabinet bench. I used to have some pretty cool sliding panels here. I talk a little bit more about this overhead storage. These drawers down here. The idea behind this is to maybe give you some ideas of what you can do with your garage and maybe what you don't want to do to your garage. If you want to skip around, everything's chaptered out below. When you start watching the video, you're going to realize that there's a lot more done that's not in the video, so stay tuned, there's a lot more coming. And about this floor, there's an entire video on the install, and there's also another follow-up review. So please, like, subscribe, set notifications, tell your friends, tell your relatives. You don't want to miss it. Something really cool's going here. Okay, so let's talk pegboard a little bit. I love pegboard, okay? Why? Biggest reason, I can put things up, see how I like it. I don't like it, I can change it. All right, that's it. That is the biggest reason. And sometimes I get rid of things, okay? I used to have another ladder over here, got rid of it. No problem. I could move things over, shift them around, throw some more stuff over here, add a stop, you know, whatever. You get more stuff, you put it on the wall. You get rid of stuff, you take it off, and you reorganize. It's fantastic. This is some old school board that was really, really dark. It was put on before I moved in, and I had to paint it, but they make them now with pre-finished white. I'm not sure what if they make any other. They do make some other colors, but pre-finished white, and if you don't like it, you know, just whatever, paint it. It's not that hard to put up, and it can hold some serious weight. This ladder here is actually pretty heavy. You know, they make all kinds of different hooks. You know, these bins here, these are all just hanging on by these hooks. But yeah, I mean, you can get really creative with this pegboard. This is one hanger here. The thing's really long. Now, I see people that use drywall, and drywall looks really nice. It's really neat. But you know what? Drywall is hard to deal with. Just hanging drywall, taping it, that's difficult. You still have to paint it. And then what do you do when you want to hang stuff? You got to know exactly where you want it. You got to know exactly what kind of hooks or hangers you're going to put on there. That's not easy. They also make some slat wall. It is, though, from the slat wall that I saw, 3/4 inch MDF, super heavy, very expensive, and you got to buy special slat hooks that are more expensive. I don't know. I didn't like it. Does it look neater than this? Yeah, it does kind of. But was it worth it for me? No, not at all. You know, really the only downside behind this wall is the little holes kind of darken it up a little bit. You know, it looks like pegboard. So it's not the best look, but I think it's the perfect compromise. And then pegboard back here. This is some kind of a metal pegboard thing. It allows the same thing. I've changed this a number of times. You know, I'm not sure where I want to put everything. I just put it up there, and if I don't like it, I just move it around a little bit. But and this metal stuff will allow you to hold heavier things, but if it's up here like this, you're not really going to be holding anything too heavy. I could have easily used this fiberboard stuff, no problem. So I have been trying to get my garage in order for basically years, okay? But overall, it's gotten a lot better over the last few months. Let me go over some of the things that I've done. So this garage, when we moved in, it already had the pegboard in, but it was very dark. You know, they didn't sell the stuff that they sell now with the white finish on it. This is basically just some 2x4 and whatever that is, 1x6 here, but that was pine. I painted that, painted all the walls. I ended up over the last few weeks actually painted the ceiling, added a couple more big LED light bulbs up there. This one got changed to, this used to be fluorescent, changed those over to LEDs, and added another bulb over there. I actually probably would have preferred to do some more LEDs there, but I had already had these sockets up there, so I just got some bulbs. It was very easy and cheap. Some years ago, I put together these storage bins, a couple 4x8 up there with some steel angle iron, and strapped that in pretty nice, screwed that into the ceiling. I've gotten rid of a lot of scrap lumber. I should really get rid of more. Then I've organized this bench really well. I redid this whole bench. This here used to come all the way up and support this top shelf. What I did was obviously remove this so that I'd have a clear, you know, an entirely clear bench here. Also, basically the bench ended here. So I didn't have this whole section above this. I wanted this whole thing cleared out, so I supported this. I kind of overdid it. Two 2x6s. I've got some 1/2-inch plywood sandwiched in between, and all of that screwed together, and that runs, you know, it's supported here. But that's a pretty long run, I believe 10 feet at least. I needed some good support because the old one was just, I believe it was a 2x4, not even a 2x6, and even from this point here over, it was sagging. You know, a 2x4 will sag under its own weight, actually. So even doubling up 2x4s, I figured wasn't going to be enough. Then I built a sliding panel, which is kind of cool because you can, you know, you've got more room, more wall room here, more pegboard room to put stuff on. But when this stuff isn't really strapped down incredibly well, you know, when you slide it around, or like me, if you got a bunch of junk on your bench, it knocks this stuff around, it can knock it off. So, you know, plus and minus. Also, this was kind of a mistake putting two of them in. While they do overlap, obviously I can't overlap this stuff because I you know, you can't overlap. Good planning that it was not 100% good. So really this is probably going to come down, but it is covering up some stuff back there that's a little bit of a mess. Let me show you what else I did. I built these cabinets, these cabinet doors, because everything in here is basically, it's a big mess, you know. I mean, you can't make this really look nice. It's just a bunch of stuff. Even when you look up here in this top shelf, it's just not going to look good. I don't know what else to do with it really, except to just kind of hide it, you know, cover it up and hide it. What these doors actually give you though too is, like, look, you're able to add these little containers on here. You put these little supports here, these little holders, and these grab on there. So it's pretty cool because you can add a lot of stuff. And then on this side, I decided to do some pegboard. And, you know, if you do pegboard, obviously you've got a gap in here so you can get the pegs in. But you get the idea. It just adds a lot more surface area to put things on. And yeah, it's not organized perfectly, but, you know, look, when you stand back and you look at this, without the doors, this is what it looks like. And when I used to stand back there, I look in the garage and go, man, that just looks like a mess. And let me show you what looks like a bigger mess. Up here. All kinds of stuff, right? Cool stuff that you gotta have. Again, stand back, and what do you got? It's a mess. But you cover it up. Oh, I built this thing custom. These are the basic pneumatic shock for tailgates and the hoods for cars and things like that. This actually took a bit of trial and error. This is a 4x8 sheet of particle board. I got this probably at Menards. It had a, you know, nice coating on it. I've got some aluminum angle iron on here for the corners. And this took kind of a lot of experimenting. I don't remember what kind of weight this supports, but you can find when you look at the pneumatic lifts, you can see how much weight they support. And I just kind of, you know, tried to figure out how much weight it would need to push and the distance it would need to push. Once you get some kind of a piece of wood up here, you get it hinged. Put this up there on my own. It was surprisingly not that difficult, but it would have been much easier with a helper. Anyway, once you can get some kind of a cover, if you decide to do this yourself, once you get some kind of a cover, a piece of wood up here, you can get an idea of, first off, the distance that you need, you know, when it's closed, and how high the pneumatic support needs to go up. So that gives you some boundaries, you know. It needs to be, whatever, 12 inches, it needs to go to 18 inches or something like that. Then you kind of need to estimate how much weight it needs to push up. And that's what I did. I put this big angle bracket in here because I wasn't sure exactly where this was going to get screwed into. So this gave me a lot of options. And once I found the right length, you know, open and closed, then I was able to start strapping it into different sides and literally just kind of pushing on it myself and thinking, all right, I don't know, that feels like 70 pounds, or that feels like, you know, 50 pounds. Trial and error. I got it to work pretty well. It doesn't pop up all the way, but it pops up enough and you can kind of push it and get it going the rest of the way. Then I needed something to hold it down. So these are like little, you find them in boats basically, and it took a while to figure out exactly what kind of a latch system I wanted to use on it. I wanted something kind of slick, and this fits the bill perfectly. And you know, this thing just kind of pushes that down, and this is the little L bracket here that holds it in. Depending on, you know, there's a lot of different ways to do that, but this is just kind of what I did. Now, ideally, I'd love to be able to put something like that to cover up the mess I've got going on up there. I could probably do the same type of thing, just kind of haven't got around to it. And honestly, you know, I was looking at Street View. Kind of hides that. Anyway, this is basically it. This is the garage. Oh, let me show you some other cool things that I put together. So this whole bench was here. This was existing. I supported this a little bit more, and it had this built in, and this actually will lift up. But if you don't put anything on top of this and actually use this space, that could be great. You could get up and you can get into that space. Well, that doesn't work for me, and I've got this extra space down here. So I built some drawers out of the fronts, and got some slides here, some pretty heavy-duty slides, and that kind of slides back in there. It's not super deep, but it's, you know, the depth of this counter here, whatever that is, 24 inch, 27 inch. So those are pretty slick. Two different drawers there, because basically I've got too much stuff, really. Oh yeah, and really need to cover this up too somehow, but I haven't 100% decided on what to do. I was thinking of like big giant drawer type things to slide out, like, you know, massive slide outs. I'm not sure that's exactly what I want to do. The issue too is, you know, if I build basic cabinet doors here that were to open up, a lot of times I have my car like this parked in, and there's not a lot of room here, so I'll figure something out. I guess I could just probably get some nice uniform bins and actually keep all my stuff in the bins. I could probably throw away half of this stuff and I would never miss it. When you start watching the video, you're going to realize that there's a lot more done that's not in the video, so stay tuned. There's a lot more coming, like how I completely upgraded this bench top, how I upgraded these stairs, this really cool garage door opener. So hey, thanks for watching, and again, I hope this gave you some ideas. Again, a lot more coming, so please subscribe and stay tuned for the next video.